Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Tower and Smorgasbord. My name is Z Garcia.
That's good pronunciation. I'm Camilla.
Thank you.
I'm Joy Evans.
Oh, yeah. The Smorgasbord.
Is it a G or a D? I always forget.
I say Smorgasbord. That's actually what I say.
Do you? Smorgasbord. Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
I think I attempt to say G, it comes out as D.
Smorgasbord.
What?
I make the effort. Smorgasbord?
What?
Smorgasbord. I don't know how I say it.
Smorgasbord. Maybe I'll just do both.
Cover all your bases?
It's starting to lose its meaning, you know what I mean? I'm getting to that point where I'm like hearing it and it's just blah, 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 blah.
I don't even know what the real word is now.
Anyway, folks, we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff today. We have a top 3 coming at you, a little discussion. Before we do that, though, let me talk a little about another channel we have called Dice Tower Encore, in which you can go for bite-sized reviews if you want to check out some of the content we do. When you want a little 5-minute blurb, a little small review, you can check that out right there. We often have roundups where we have a bunch of reviews together, and we chop them up and put them on that channel. So go check out Dice Tower Encore, subscribe to that, and if you've only got a couple of minutes, that's where you want to be.
Exactly. It's nice if you're like searching for something, because if they're buried in a roundup, it's hard to find them there. They're just chopped up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice.
One every day, so you can, have it with your coffee. Kind of like Joey's having some coffee.
Oh,
What's the
that
flavor
coffee,
today,
How
Joey?
is it?
It is blueberry coffee, and it is nasty.
Yeah, we can smell it.
So bad.
Smorgasbord.
Why are you drinking it?
All right.
Because I'm cheap, and I made it. So I have to drink it.
Good job.
What? Oh.
Let's talk about the news, everybody. Here we go. All right, let's kick it off with some expansion news here. This is an expansion called, it moved. It's not called Oops. The expansion is Sentinels of the Multiverse Desperation. And this is an expansion to Sentinels of the Multiverse Definitive Edition. Coming out from Greater Than Games. This is coming out September 2024 following a Q2 2023 campaign. So that happened, and this is coming out later this year. You're going to have a bunch of new content, new baddies, all of that stuff. This is a continuation of, I guess, the story they've been building, where you have some villainous AI, Omnitron X. They have traveled through time, or that thing has traveled through time, to prevent its former self from destroying all humans. That's disappointing. Her cold and calculating side driving her to fight injustice and villainy. Flavor text. It includes 9 dangerous villains, 5 ever-changing environments. Ever-changing. How do they do that?
It changes a lot.
Ever.
Is this the game you like? Are you familiar with?
I liked, you played, I'm sure. I mean,
I played it a little tiny bit.
I enjoyed it at the beginning, and then I think I gravitated to Champions and different things like that. But, I mean, I'd like to go. I never got they redid it, like, clarify a lot of the rules.
Yeah, the definitive edition I've heard is pretty solid.
That's what I heard. I
haven't
wouldn't
played
mind revisiting it. I didn't know it was still going on. I thought people jumped.
That's my thing, too. I thought it was old. I thought it was not dead. Not, people still play it and stuff, but I thought it was not still supported.
I always thought it was funny how they took, like, somebody like Deadpool, and they renamed him Guise. Guise, and it's Deadpool. But it's like, it's close enough so you know, but not so you get sued.
Like a bunch of winks,
But I don't know, it's good. It ended up being a lot of math, the first one did.
That's the thing I've always heard about Sentinels is it's a lot of upkeep. And like I said, it's been too long since I played.
Yeah.
But they came up with an app. There's an app for this.
Okay.
And it takes care of all of that upkeep, so...
That wouldn't be
nice.
bad.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's, if I want to play, I just can, hop on the iPad and it takes care of that stuff.
Right.
But I'm glad there is more content. They're still coming out with it. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. We've got some more expansions, this time for Cosmic Frog, or from Cosmic Frog here. We got the Gluttony Pack, the Devious Pack for Cosmic Frog, and we've also got, this is from designer Jenna Felly of Devious Weasel is the company, which I love that name, Devious Weasel Games. But there's also a Take That style card game coming out.
Love it.
That is on the screen. and it implies that Murray is not a very nice frog.
It's not right.
And
Oh.
you can see the title on this.
That took me a minute. Yep.
You can see it. Murray is
Not
a
nice
jerk.
frog. Okay.
This is a game for 3 to 6 players, and it's going to debut at Gen Con 2024. It says, Murray the Bleep Frog is a game of set collection and set destruction with random end triggers. On your turn, you have full access to the cards in your hand and limited access to a common deck and a small pool of revealed cards. The cards are insects, common flies and stuff, royal flies, like fireflies and dragonflies, and wasps and Murray. So you're going to be bidding with the flies, building up swarms, using the royal flies and the wasps for building swarms, and using their unique special abilities. So again, this is coming out specifically Gen Con 2024.
Just so I know, Murray has nothing to do with the Cosmic Frog expansions, right? These are two different...
I think it's 2 different things from the same company,
Okay,
yes.
'cause it's
Oh, God.
slightly different artwork style.
Okay, I was wondering about it.
yes.
And we've already had an expansion for Cosmic Frog, right? So this
Yes.
is 2 new ones.
Yeah.
I guess 3 and 4.
Have you guys played that?
No.
But yeah,
Interesting.
this game is definitely an
Cult classic.
indie darling kind of
Yes.
cult. It
It-
has a
yeah,
cult
it's
following.
very
That's
Yeah.
a good way to put
Yeah.
it.
People that love it, love it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. All right. Let's talk about some solo gaming here. And designer Brad Smith, who has released 3 solitaire games already from publisher Hollandspiele. His debut title was NATO Air Commander back in 2018. The follow-up was That Others May Live from 2023. You were controlling air forces that had to go rescue downed Americans in North Vietnam and Laos in that one. And the new one here is Comet. This one debuted in April 2024, so it just came out. And in it, you help Allied airmen who are shot down in World War II escape from occupied Europe. So that's the idea. Of course, a very sobering theme here, but these are, as I was reading here, and the things that are represented in the game, there is this game here acknowledges the grim reality, as it says, while also attempting to be ever optimistic in the face of these incredible odds and horrible things that happened. I love that cover. I love the graphic design on this. It's very minimalistic, and while I haven't played any of these 3 games, they sound really interesting. I like these themes. They're very specific. It's clearly war themes.
Right.
But they're picking such specific subjects. It's not this game. What's it about? World War II. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, it's about this one thing.
Right.
This one small aspect of
I
it.
like hyper focus on something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty cool.
And that's I like that graphic. I don't know why. I thought it was a sword at first. And
I was
then
gonna
it's
say the same thing. I was like, I really liked it when I thought it was a sword, and then I realized it wasn't, and I still really liked it.
do too. I'm like,
I
wow.
couldn't take away from it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
like that a
minimal.
lot.
I like that style a lot.
All right, moving over to Monolith, French publisher, with a game that very much is not their kind of thing.
Are there minis?
We've got Tower Up. That's what you would expect.
Especially with a name
Because
like Tower Up.
Monolith makes big, epic, sprawling sort of, miniatures games, or games with miniatures, right?
Yeah.
They're the guys who put out Claustrophobia 1693 or whatever. Very interesting stuff. And then you've got Tower Up here, which sounds like a much smaller game. This is from the design trio of Frank Crichton, Gregoire Largy, and Sebastian Pauschen. They're putting out this Tower Up that's coming out in September 2024. They've worked together quite a bit, these 3. They've done a bunch of generally smaller games. And honestly, they've kind of been hit or miss for me. They put out that one Panda one.
I just played
Way
that
of the
one.
Panda, I think it's called. That was theirs.
What was it?
It's called Way of the Panda.
I haven't heard of that.
It's a big box game, and then they've got a few small ones. They're okay. I like Sebastian Pauschen and the games he's put out quite a bit.
Okay.
And this is kind of a mean thing to say, I guess, but once he became part of this trio, I think their games have been okay.
You haven't liked him as much? Okay.
Yeah. Because he's the guy who did... Sebastian Pauschen is the guy who did the original game that Skyrise became.
Oh, okay.
On his own, and he did Ispahan on his own.
Okay.
You know, these are big games, and the new ones have been a little weaker, but maybe Tower Up is the one that's going to bring them back around.
That's it.
So in this one, on your turn, you either pick a card and take the corresponding resources, or you use your resources and you make a new building. Choose an empty spot, you pay the cost of the adjacent buildings, you place a roof, bam, you earn corresponding points. Sounds pretty straightforward.
It does, yeah.
Sounds very simple. And like I said, September 2024, you can check it out. All right, now this is a very cool looking cover and a very interesting sounding game in Winston, 1984. So this is a game coming out from a company called Kokorin Games, coming out in October. And the designer here, who I'll attempt to pronounce their name, Peripao Listosella, I think it is. That company is their company, that Kokorin Games company.
Okay.
This one's based on the book, 1984. Winston is the name of the main character. Winston Smith is the name of the main character in 1984. And this one is about, it's a solo game, and you are trying to go from, well, where this character is at the beginning of the novel, working at the Minitrue company or whatever, and systematically erasing the records of non-persons, to longing for freedom, to escaping, basically, from this place. So, yeah, that's about all we know so far, but the look is amazing. The theme is really cool.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh, I love that they went with that comic book look for it.
Yeah.
You know, that's very striking and apropos.
I was so engaged in the cover. I was like, even if it's just some random guy Winston you follow his live for a game, I'm like, I'm in. I don't know why. It's like,
I'm
it
here
looks
for Winston.
good, yeah.
It's like that artwork.
This sounds really, and it's solo only, you said, too.
Solo
you are
only
playing as
game,
him.
yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. And hopefully it'll be, I would love for this to be the start of something. Like, maybe, you know, the next game from this company is another solo game based on Animal Farm.
Something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be really neat. But yeah, this sounds very cool.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait for
I
that.
don't know the company. Are you familiar with them?
I don't know this company
Okay.
either, no.
Okay, interesting.
It's from that designer. It's their company, though.
Yeah, I should know.
So this sounds very
had
small,
other
you know.
things.
Looking forward
That's
to
cool.
it. All right. Going from very small to something much more well established, we've got Nocturn here coming out from Flat Out Games. This is a new spatial bidding and set collection game, and it's coming to retail. Hey, would you look at that? September 2024. All I'm getting is September's going to be a big month for games. In this one, from designer David Iezzi and art by Beth Sobel, as you can tell there, you're going to take the roles of Fox Mystics, as one does, who are competing against their rivals to collect enchanted items. You play over 2 rounds. You're going to be utilizing numbered tokens, casting spells, bidding on items you find on the forest floor grid, and then reacting and disrupting each other's strategies by casting your own and changing where the items are. I've seen pictures of this, and it looks pretty abstracted, I have to say. The theme is also the first time where they're really going outside of nature. Like, this is a stretch to call this a nature game.
Fantasy nature.
Yeah.
Like, it's right.
But, again, Flat Out Games has been doing some good work, and here's another game coming out from them. So,
It's a nice cover.
September.
Cool, very striking.
All right. Let's talk about some reprints and some reworkings, shall we?
All right.
We shall.
All right. Marc Andre came out with a game back in 2017 called Majesty for the Realm, and it is being overhauled by Studio H and hitting the market again in Europe as Middle Ages, which is that second cover you see there.
The white one.
Yep. The idea here is the same as before, and it is you are the head of a fiefdom, and its future is in your hands. You need to develop the whole place. You need to You decide. Do you become a pious church builder or prefer to feast in your sumptuous palaces? Do you develop your lands and become the most influential? Do you develop agriculture? What do you do? That's the idea. Don't get too excited. It's a Euro game. Calm down. You can tell from the picture. And this is going to be coming out in North America in June, June 5th, 2024. So you don't have to wait
that's
till
interesting.
you don't have to wait till September for this one.
I say, yeah, it's interesting they're doing it before even Gen Con.
That's right. So drafting
Get the hype.
drafting tiles, putting tiles together, as you can see, it's compared to something like a King Domino type game. So
Okay.
there you go. And again, Majesty for the Realm has had coverage right here on the Dice Tower, so you can check that out. If you're curious about this new one, go check out the old one. We're going to stay with Marc-Andre for a little bit and talk about how Grail Games is working on a new edition of his 2015 game, Barony, and the expansion that came out to Barony called Sorcery. This is all going to be happening through a crowdfunding campaign that is scheduled for mid-2024, ahead of a release, they're saying, Q4 2024. That is a very quick turnaround. So I'm guessing these are going to be done, because otherwise...
More of a pre-order, getting a count for print.
Yeah,
that's what it
that's
sounds like.
a little too fast to start printing now. So that's happening. By the way, if you don't know who Marc-Andre is, this is the person who made Splendor. This is the designer of Splendor, okay? And he's had a few other games, certainly nothing nearly as big as Splendor.
No.
But these couple of games he has come out with after Splendor are getting some love again, so that's very, very nice to see. And Barony here is a, much like Splendor, kind of a minimalistic game in which you're moving around the kingdom, moving your little wooden horses. I remember it having very lovely components, but the game feels very minimalistic.
Very small. Okay.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad.
In the decisions, or you mean just in?
No, just sort of like in the scope of the whole thing. You have a map of a kingdom, but what you're doing is very streamlined, like almost to a fault. Again, that's kind of what Splendor is incredibly streamlined, so same idea here. All right, let's talk about Scribbly Gum and going print and play, Joey. Joey. It's a print and not play Renaissance.
Yes, it is. Look at this.
To be fair, I think maybe it's a not print and not play.
It is.
Renaissance. You need to start printing these.
I'm slowly doing it.
Okay.
Got a backlog.
All right, so this is, the news here is that Scribbly Gum, which is a game from Phil Walker Harding, that came out through his own brand, Joey Games, in Australia. He took that game, he went and partnered up with Postmark Games, and they are re-releasing Scribbly Gum here as a play-at-home edition, with the idea
also
being...
known as
Scribbly Gum. It's the same title,
I was going to say print and play, but go ahead.
So the idea here is that Postmark Games has been doing some really cool stuff. I know you've backed some of their games. I've backed some of their games.
Okay, I didn't know who you were talking about. Yes.
They're like the print and play company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Who?
Postmark Games.
They did the...
You don't know who they are?
No, what
You've
do they
backed
do?
a couple.
You've probably backed
they
them all.
did the aquamarine one where you go down.
Yes.
Like you're diving. And they did...
I backed the first one. I'm trying to remember had a map. You pick directions and move on a map.
Right.
You've got a problem, Z.
I really do. Actually, I printed it, and then you know what I did? I played it.
Yeah.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's
Bite
not legal.
me.
You're not allowed to do both. You got to do one or the other.
Or the other.
I didn't print it, but I played it.
Okay, there we go.
Anyway,
really
so that's cool. Yeah, it's very nice to see that this is going to come out and be available to just print and play.
Are they updating it at all? They're not bringing anything new to it.
I think you get extra content as you normally do from Postmark, where they'll release more stuff as time goes on.
Because that is the cool thing. I mean, it's been a year and a half maybe since I did the Aqua one, and I've gotten probably 2 or 3 updates with like, oh, here's additional maps. Oh, here's new stuff.
I do like updates.
Really,
they're very good at that.
Yeah, they really support the games.
And above and beyond this, by the way, Joey Games and Postmark Games are going to crowdfund a new Walker Harding design mid-2024 at some point. So keep an eye out for that.
All right.
All right, moving on to another reprint from Spellen. This is Indonesia, coming back out again, 3rd edition. It's going to be releasing Q4 2024. And this is one of those games where if you know, you know. This is a big...
I don't know.
It's a big Splotter game. It's going to be a sprawling design. There's a ton of things happening. This is a big game, a big serious game. I could go on here and tell you about how in the game players acquire production companies, you produce goods, you deliver goods to different cities, the cities increase their demands, your production companies earn money. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
Yeah. Oof.
There's a lot going on, but I'm glad to see it coming back. And hopefully, again, this is one that gets out there to more people who maybe are missing some nice, crunchy complexity in their lives. So check it out.
Awesome.
3rd edition, Q4 2024. Lots of stuff coming out. Okay, this is one we were just talking about yesterday, actually. Dungeon Twister is coming back out, and this is one of Tom's favorite games from yesteryear. Dungeon Twister first came out back in 2004 from Asmodee, back when Asmodee was just a little baby demon.
Oh my goodness.
He's so cute.
You love him.
Yeah, he's a cute little demon, you know?
There we go.
Now it's a big demon. But yeah, Dungeon Twister. There's nothing behind that. Asmodee is a demon.
That was loaded.
Dungeon Twister's coming out with Dungeon Twister 20th Anniversary Edition. And the idea is 2 to 4 players take on the role of a team of imprisoned characters in this grid with these tiles, and you are trying to take out the opponents or get across the map to the other side. Okay. The tiles are filled with weird symbols and things and traps and what have you, and you can literally, as an action, twist them. Like, pick up the whole thing and turn in 90 degrees and put it back down.
That's the twister. Okay.
And your characters have special abilities. You have a team, I have a team, and, you know, one guy walks through walls. One guy can attack harder, whatever, with ranged attacks, what have you. So, yeah, coming back out.
Did you find it fiddly, like being able to pick that tile up? Do you have to like move all the
tiles? I'm
tiles
not a big
away?
fan of Dungeon Twister, but Tom really loves it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay.
It comes with those banners, which is nice.
It comes with the banners, you just said?
Yeah, with the deluxe, obviously.
Stupid.
Not the retail.
Ugh.
Well, retail would come with banners.
This is going to come with the Paladins and Dragons expansion. That's going to be included in the new edition, along with the 3 to 4 players expansion, because the original game was actually just for 2.
Really?
Yeah, and so
That's interesting.
they made an expansion, and you can play now with more.
3 to 4.
The new edition will feature new art, new miniatures, and larger tiles, which is good. They were a little bit small.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So there we go, Dungeon Twister coming out. We've got the latest solo game from Renegade Game Studios. They have that Solo Hero series, and the next one is going to be called Unstoppable, and it is from John D. Clare.
I like the look of that.
It's actually for 1 or 2 players, so right there, giant misnomer, I think, and a ridiculous faux pas, but I guess I'll continue reading the news. Solo Hero series. It's embarrassing. This is going to be crowdfunded in June to release first quarter 2025.
Quick turnaround again.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. And it pits you against dangers on 3 different planets. So you've got one planet here where every alleyway invites a quick and quiet death. You got that's the Series 2, the city planet of Series 2. In the lush forests of Verenos, a single misstep could land you in the belly of a beast. The harsh wasteland of Mithras holds both grave danger and a great treasure for those who search its stacks of discarded rubbish. So, you got 3 different places you can play, I guess, and you are going to be managing all these cards up here, trying to use a little card crafting, a John D. Clare classic.
Oh.
And this is solo.
This is solo or 2 players.
2 players. And the 2-player co-op then, I'm assuming? That usually
I'm assuming the 2 player is a co-op,
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I am super interested.
It's like they're calling it a roguelite game. So solo or cooperative roguelite. Yeah.
I like this.
I would do this.
This series is very
Yes.
interesting. This one sounds a little bit bigger than some of the ones before it, actually. I played the first one, which had like a gladiatorial setting.
Was it John DeClaire too?
No, it was somebody else as a
Okay.
designer. I did not really care for that one. I know they have one that came out some time ago that has a post-apocalyptic setting. Like, it's called Wreck Run or something like
Wreck
that.
Run.
In this
I
same
remember that.
series.
Oh, interesting.
Row, yeah. And I haven't played that either, but it looks cool. And this sounds great.
I love
does.
that small design scope, not design, like a specific scope where it's like it's a solo or two-player co-op. Like it's very
Yeah.
specific what it is.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of that, of like
There you go.
knowing where it's going to shine and develop into that. So, oh, this is exciting.
And John
So-
DeClaire has a habit of overachieving on games. Like I think Last Kingdom, I went in thinking I don't like the IP, and then it came out going, that game's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try
Well,
that.
he overachieves here too because the series is called Solo Hero Series.
Keep doing you, John. Make it a real game.
Make it a real game. Well, okay,
Sorry, Mike.
quick here. Expansion to Acropolis announced.
Oh,
This is a picture that popped up on Facebook for the expansion called Athena, and that's all we've got. When is it coming out? I don't know. If I had to guess, September. It's some year
you know,
September.
no.
I can pick up on a trend.
Yep.
But that's all we've got. The original game came out back in 2022. It's an award-winning game. Did very well, Acropolis. And we've got some more content coming out for that.
I didn't realize it was that old already.
I know. Time flies when you're laying tiles.
You know what? I feel weird because I just got rid of my Acropolis. I'm like, I'm not going to play it again. You know, played it too much, and now
You need it
expansion
back.
comes
Now
out.
you've got to go raid the Dice
Might
Tower
still be
East
here somewhere.
flea market.
Right, oh,
Find it.
great.
Go take half your collection
That's
back.
what I'm going to do.
Okay, a couple more pieces of information here as far as expansions go. We got an expansion announced for Clank Catacombs as well.
Boom!
Dire Wolf has teased an expansion for it, and as you can see there, layers and lost chambers. I do like this Clank. I think it might be my favorite Clank. Clank
Easy.
Catacombs.
Except for Legacy, but yeah.
Never played
I
Legacy.
need to play Legacy.
No, I heard you have to like keep playing though, and like you
It's only
can't.
like 9 or 10 episodes. Or
Yeah.
Is it really that short?
So you would, yeah, you guys would like it. It's an hour too. It's not like 3-hour things. You can crank it
It's
out in
like
a
a
weekend.
fun weekend. I was saying,
Yeah.
that sounds like a really fun like cabin
New one's coming
weekend.
out. It's seriously,
Oh,
it's.
I might have to
really
go rent
good.
a cabin.
Yeah.
Is it solo?
You know you can play at home too, right?
Is it soloable?
Yeah.
So,
There's
just asked.
yeah, it's mainly a solo game.
so one or two got it. Yeah. All right, so there you go, and then.
This one, let's talk. This is. I'm excited about this one.
Okay, I'm glad you're
cool.
excited. Okay,
I'm beyond excited.
We don't know anything else about it.
I
It's
don't
a lot
care.
of purple.
It's a lot of purple,
I do
but
like purple though. Purple and
Catacombs is
green.
great.
That's my two favorite colors. This
I
is-
will say this took too
fantastic.
long. They've been waiting for this expansion forever.
You
they've
think
been
so?
waiting.
Yeah. This is one they should. This is good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then the
Yeah,
final
it's
expansion coming out, I'm very excited about. They announced an expansion to Expeditions from Stonemaier Games.
Okay.
Oh.
So this is in the world of Scythe. Expeditions came out, really cool game of exploration and kind of hand management. And now we've got Gears of Corruption announced here. This is releasing soon. We don't really know when this is coming out, but the idea is that corruption that had seeped into the Siberian tundra is now spreading across the animals, the people, and to even larger threats. There's new heroes. You're going to have new heroes in here that you're going to be dealing with, but there's also then, this expansion includes one new mech that is corrupted by this alien entity, like whatever fell from the sky in this setting has now seeped into this one mech that's like roaming the lands corrupted. And that sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's, this is I like this far more than Scythe. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
so I would play this. Scythe, I feel like I was overwhelmed. There's too much. There's a world people lived in that I'm like, you guys do you.
I haven't done Scythe. I've only played this one.
This, I liked it too.
Yeah, so it's going to get you have two new mechs, like player pieces, mechs.
Okay.
And 4 new character companion combinations, which is who you play as. Your mech moves around on the board, and you have a couple of starting cards that represent you and your animal companion, like, you know, that big guy and the bear, or the lady and the bear, and the dude and the big hawk, and whatever. So you're getting this new stuff. You also have components for a 6th player to be able to jump into the game. More choices, obviously. And one thing which I thought was very interesting, this also has, I guess, an early gameplay acceleration thing, where so you can start at the beginning of the game already skipping the first few turns that are just kind of build up.
Kind of like Prelude
that's
and
nice.
Terraforming Mars or something like that.
Huh.
So I like the idea of that. It basically gives you starting resources, and it gives you, you know, more stuff to begin with, and it gives you one worker of those little colored workers that is wild. So you can put them on any one spot. I really like that. So
that's interesting. I don't know.
I like that kind of push.
I think that's going to be cool. You know, speed the game up a little bit.
And I'm sure it's optional.
Did you find it slow though?
Oh, it's super slow. I hate it.
I'm being serious. Did you find it
No,
slow?
I don't find it slow at all. I love it.
All right.
Somewhere in between. How about
Okay,
that? Between
that
my two
works.
extremes. No, but I think it's a good idea to offer that kind of thing. I think if I'm spending my first few turns just kind of doing the same things, it's not bad to be like, well, here, just begin with a few already resources, and you skip some of the beginning drudgery, you know?
It almost makes you jump to that second scenario of a campaign.
In what?
Like a second scenario of a campaign, how you're always more excited about that than you are the first one, because you've already got your weapons, you've got to go.
The first one, a lot of times, is where you lay the groundwork.
Right, yeah.
You know, and kind of build what you want to go into. So, I don't know. Yeah, I wonder if that would feel a little too on rails.
Okay. It's going to be available, by the way, as a standard edition with the plastic mech and all that, or you can get the ironclad, which is going to give you the metal mech. And they're also giving you in there new bases for all the mechs, because they went from plastic for the ironclad. They went from plastic to rubbery rings for the bottom of the mechs.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Good. On
And so
metal, that would go.
So they're giving you all 6 rubber bases to update the originals. And I like that.
Yeah.
So there you go. Just keep an eye out. They're saying here the expansion becomes available on their website, on Stonemaier Games, at the beginning of June, like June 5th. And then worldwide is 6 to 8 weeks after that.
You're talking like 2 weeks.
Yeah, on their website.
Wow.
And then you can get it much.
Okay.
You can get it later everywhere.
Very cool.
And that, folks, is all the news that's fit to talk about. Let's move on. All right, guys. What are we talking about today?
Cryptids.
What? Like
That's what you told me.
like creatures and stuff?
Yeah.
Like
You're
moo
scary.
cows?
Yeah,
Moo
sure.
cows.
Sure.
Goonies.
Moo cow
You
eaters.
know?
Oh,
They're cute things. Like,
Things that eat moo cows.
Yeah.
oh.
Cryptids, I
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil anyone's list. I think pretty much every cryptid eats cows, right?
Yes.
I was looking up pictures of these cryptids, by the way. I came across online these, they have these posters that say cryptids from Mississippi, cryptids from Wyoming.
Oh, I never
And there's
saw
like,
that.
there are so many. Every state had enough for its own poster.
Oh, wow.
I
Like-
put one of my state ones in there, yeah.
You did?
Because, I mean, you grow up and that's what you hear about. Because I remember
Yeah.
when you later, you're like, I didn't know some of these were a thing until kind of branched out. And I'm like, oh, apparently this is like a famous cryptid.
Well, it's also
Really?
hard. There's
Yeah.
a line between cryptids
It's-
and like folklore or you know,
Right.
something like that. I mean, because I consider like we talked about the Bell Witch in Tennessee, you know. So I considered that, but I was like, that's more of a myth or a folklore of the area.
Ooh, what is that?
You know?
Bell Witch?
Yeah, we're gonna go camping there.
Yeah.
It's the only witch that's like by the government. I don't know what it is.
It's the only witch by the government. Mm.
They'll get you.
This witch comes after your taxes.
Yeah, right?
Every April she prowls.
Around 14th, 15th, 16th, right around there.
So
Knocking on doors.
What you got in there?
Screaming, TurboTax. All right, what do you got, Joey? We're starting with you and your number 3.
All right, I'm going classic. This is the only thing in the world that is naturally blurry.
Correct, yeah. It's like that black paint that's so black that your mind can't process it. Yeah.
I had to go classic. I had to go Bigfoot. Because, I mean, he just...
That's 4K, folks.
Yeah, he's just naturally... You could put him in front of a beautiful camera in a studio, and it'll come out blurry. That's just the way he is.
That's what he does.
He's like one of those scarves that celebrities wear that like blur,
yes,
blur
exactly.
your eyes. You know,
I don't know why, because every time I drive home from the studio, I have to go down... you know, through the Everglades, and there are so many like statues of him down there, and I don't know why.
To be fair, that's not Bigfoot.
It's Skunk Ape.
That's
right?
the Skunk Ape.
You know what?
That's different.
They're not.
No, they don't really get along at family dinners super well.
Okay, what about Harry and the Hendersons? That's Bigfoot.
Harry and the Hendersons is like the one that moved out and got an education. You know what I mean? He is. That's a Bigfoot. Yeah, that's a Bigfoot.
He's a couple generations later.
That's actually, and I've read facts about him. Bigfoot actually is size 7.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not that big.
No, it's
little
tiny.
feet.
Wait,
But,
he's tiny.
He is.
No, he's got a big old foot like that.
Size 7?
Well, thin. He's got thin feet.
That's not how you measure sizes.
That's how big feet do.
What?
Bigfoots. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this was one of those classic ones, and I don't know. This is one you always hear camping as a kid, and back when I used to camp, didn't have a choice. But yeah, Bigfoot had to be it.
All right.
Did not know the Skunk Ape was different.
I never heard
It's its
of
own
skunk ape.
thing.
I did not know
That's
that.
the Florida
I
Bigfoot.
said I never heard of skunk ape till I moved here. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
So those statues I see every time are Skunk Ape.
That's a Skunk Ape, yes.
Gonna
It's not a
change that
Bigfoot, okay?
Facebook post.
The Skunk Ape, you know, the Bigfoot, he's blurry. The Skunk Ape, you can smell him coming. That's the difference.
That checks out for Florida, yeah.
Okay, so Bigfoot. Sasquatch is Bigfoot too, right? Yeah, same thing.
Sasquatch and Bigfoot are the same thing, but an abominable snowman, that's different.
But they're related.
They're related,
They are
yes.
related, yeah.
Okay.
All right, my number 3, I had to pick a cryptid that you don't translate into English. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm excited.
Or like a classic.
What?
You know, that is nobody ever goes like, have you ever heard of the goat sucker? Because
Right.
that's not very exciting.
That's
Right.
really not.
But chupacabra, that strikes fear.
Yes,
into
it does.
Many a ghost.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I drew that.
Is that? I think that's Chupacabra.
Oh, yes, is my number 3.
Oh.
Yeah, chupacabra is my number 3. And again, chupa means suck, and cabra means goat. Suck a
Chupacabra.
goat.
Suck a goat. I like that.
It used to be an insult.
Yeah, why is
and
it
now
not?
It has what are you saying? We're talking about some kid insulted someone that got caught? No, it's an animal.
Yeah, it's a cryptid. Anyway, so yeah, this guy, man, he for a while there, what's crazy is a lot of these cryptids, they have that sort of undercurrent where, you know, people talk about this and that and the other thing. But I remember the chupacabra when this first became a thing.
Yeah.
This was making the news and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember? You never
I've
saw
never
that?
remember that, no.
Yeah, the chupacabra was like showing up on news.
It was.
People
When?
showing up at people's farms and all the goats were, you know, dried out and stuff.
When
This
was
was a
this?
thing. I don't know, back in the 90s, maybe?
90s? No, I never heard
It's
of
got
it.
staying power because we just watched a movie, Juliet liked. It's called Chupa, where this kid in Mexico vacation down there and he finds a baby chupacabra, and it's just starts to feed it. The family loves it. They had to find a family of chupacabras. It's just
Oh my
like
gosh.
I need to see this.
it's
this
really
wonderful
good.
film.
It's really good. It's cute.
Sounds like a wonderful picture.
Well, lower your expectations a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah,
well.
But it's
I usually do when you recommend movies.
But first of all, I've not seen that picture of it. That looks terrifying. I always thought it looked like a dog or something.
Yeah,
This
they're
is
very dog
this is
looking,
a
Like,
Yeah.
and the artist here took some liberties.
yeah, he's got.
But that's how I like it. I like that like humanoid kind of
Yeah,
look to it.
yeah, but no, it's normally kind of dog-like, a little more dog-like in its representation.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my number 3.
My number 3 is chupacabra as well.
That's what I'm talking
So-
about. Let me see your picture, though.
What's the matter with you?
That's like a piranha.
Oh, wow.
Again, I like the humanoid
No,
one.
You are leaning into it.
Hey, we went cartoony.
Do not watch that movie.
That's what,
Chupa,
that's what it looks
chupa.
like. Look, and see, the goat died happy.
That's
You saw
gone.
That goat didn't die happy.
Look at him, he's happy.
That goat's not dead yet.
That's true. That's right. Yeah,
This
he's
thing
not
looks
there yet.
straight vampiric.
Oh,
well.
man.
Oof.
That's the chupacabra.
Wow.
I like him.
How do you
Number
still
3.
go outside after seeing something like that? It's like, wow, that's brutal.
Oh my
Need
gosh!
a-
What? It's a goat sucker. What else do you want? What do you expect? They're not cartoons.
I would like a nice big silly straw.
No.
I mean, they,
No.
A big wing from the
No.
chupa.
No.
Ding.
apparently the eyes are accurate.
This goat is delicious.
Wow. That's the chupacabra. That's what it really looks like. If you've never seen it, you'd know.
That would be like, to be fair though, no
love
joke.
it.
If I
Look
saw
at it.
that out late at night,
Not.
I like
I'm
the
moving.
spikes on him and
If I saw
kinda
yours,
fishy.
Z, I'd take it to my leader. That one,
yeah, that's terrifying.
yeah, that's like.
Oh my goodness,
just
that
roll over and
is
give up.
nightmare fuel.
That's-
I liked it. That was my favorite picture I found. So
Alright,
whatever. I thought it was very,
Ever in history, favorite pictures.
very
of that.
lifelike.
Oh, that's your new background, guy.
Yeah, that's.
That's what it is.
All right, so my number
Yeah.
2 is again from Kentucky, a regional thing from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
So I
Louisville.
remember growing up
you're
because I
getting
remember
better.
being told I was
Louisville.
Louisville. Told as a kid that I had to avoid this bridge because of the Pope Lick monster.
The what?
Oh,
Yeah, right
wow.
here. This guy right here.
Wait,
Flick
stop.
monster, yep.
Hold on.
Here's
The Pope
okay. It's
Lick
Like, yeah.
monster.
it's over. I'll just call it the Goat Man, but people call it
Yeah.
the Pope Lick because that goes over the Pope Lick Creek in Louisville, Kentucky. And the,
Stop.
You hear
The creek is
called
called
Pope
Pope Lick.
yeah,
Two
didn't know
words like
that.
that?
we don't ask how it got its name.
Uh-huh.
We just know that's where it is.
Okay.
But here's what he does. He gets people to get on that trestle there, and then when the bridges come, and they die. But it got so bad where people like would go there, they'd put fences up and signs saying don't do it. But he supposedly like hypnotizes you to get you on that bridge for when trains come.
I didn't know all that. I did know that he was like had the hypnotizing power. That's
Yeah.
all I know. And I've heard Pope Lick, but I think Goatman outside of like
Outside
very
of Kentucky.
north, yeah, outside of Kentucky, very north Tennessee. You hear Goatman more, but
He's
Pope Lick, yeah.
a circus performer supposedly, that had that hypnotism power, and he's real though. These other ones are fake. He's real. Pope Lick monster. Yeah.
I've heard him.
Have you seen the movie they made out of the Pope Lick monster?
No, I would though.
I bet they haven't. I'm sure they
I don't know.
have.
They've
right?
got to.
No.
I would.
I bet this is one though that you could probably find the roots of it. I bet it's in order to keep kids away from the train tracks.
It
You know what
probably
I mean?
is,
It's like
yeah.
the tale they would tell, like the Pope Lick will
Pope
get
Lick
you.
will-
Don't do it. It's like train's coming.
That's what
Pope
we
Lick's
heard.
up
It worked
there.
on us.
We
We're more afraid of him than the train.
It's true.
Look at him.
Oh, absolutely.
You see his
That's it,
pet?
yeah.
Looks like her picture.
Ooh,
Oh, that's so sad.
He's-
that is terrifying.
Right? Kentucky's a scary place, man.
All right. All right, my number 2 is kind of toes the line to being a cryptid, but I went with the Kraken, a classic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that would have made my list if I thought of it.
So here's
Yeah.
the thing about this. I honestly think a lot of the more interesting cryptids, hidden stuff, things we mythicize about, is that a word?
It is.
Are in the water, like are in
Yes.
the oceans. Largely because there's a whole lot of stuff in there we actually don't know.
It
I
is
think it's-
crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I
that,
mean,
it's that unknown. It's that
12-legged
Yeah.
shrimp and maybe some sort of turtle that has a shell on its back and its front. We don't know. We
Yeah.
don't know.
They keep finding stuff down there
I
in those
know.
trenches. They're like, wow. Yeah,
That's
it's
a thing now. Okay, sure. And the
Kraken.
Kraken,
that.
while again the roots of it all comes from back in the day, ships getting pulled down into the depth and it likely
Right.
being giant squid.
it
Which are
probably
real.
was,
Yep.
Yeah.
There's still something about this idea of something we haven't discovered yet that makes a giant squid look like a sea monkey. You know what I mean?
I love it. Yeah,
That's what I'm waiting on. Something truly monstrous, truly large. And the ocean can house something like that.
They can. That's the thing. You don't know.
You don't know.
There's so much we don't know about it. It's so dark. And I mean, the more we learn about it, the creepier it gets almost.
Right,
it's not like that sense of discovery, like, oh,
Conspiracies
this is neat.
here
It's
at the
like,
Dice Tower.
This is terrifying.
Right.
The deeper we go, the more scary it is.
So my point being, if the Pope Lake monster's real, Kraken face is real.
I agree. This is.
I can't see the face.
They're leaning into the Cthulhu
he's really good.
head there.
Oh, it's like Cthulhu.
Yeah.
It's like blah, blah, blah. I just saw that. I like it.
Yeah, that's why you like it. That's
It's
why you
like,
guys are buddies.
Smorgasbord. That's my number 2.
My number 2 is Bigfoot's cousin, a Yeti.
Look at this cat. Oh, how do you go from that last picture to this one? Look at this cat. Oh, this is like the Burt Reynolds pose. He's on the carpet. He's like, ladies.
Hey, how you doing? Hey,
Wow.
Give her a strong
I was
sniff.
heavily keep my family away
Hey,
because
what's
he's going to
going
hit
on?
on
How
my
you
wife.
doing? Hey,
I love it.
is it me or is it a little frosty around here? What's your favorite flavor?
What?
I'm a fan of vanilla myself. Hey,
I
what's
like
going
it almost
on?
no man. I think maybe it's rooted in the old, Rudolph, that series, the old
That
TV
is
stuff.
an abominable.
claymation
But I
thing,
like
though.
it. Yeah, the claymation
Yeah.
stuff. Maybe it's rooted in that, but I definitely always lean more Yeti than Bigfoot. I just find them fascinating and just so snuggly, just so warm. If you're out in the middle of a snowstorm, I want to find a
Ladies.
Yeti to snuggle. Yeah,
Cozy
I'll
up.
be like, I need some warmth. Like that.
I love this. Somebody says, oh, there's a lot of good stuff here. Instagram influencer Yeti. Hello, ladies.
Ladies.
I'm almost snowman, the Yeti second cousin that works out.
That picture is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, I love him.
He's
I
the
love him.
DJ after dark at the local
the
radio
DJ.
station. We're playing all your hits. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Wow, okay. I
Yep, number 2.
can't top that Yeti. All right. This one for me is the classic one. Growing up, I watched Scooby-Doo all the time. And this one,
Do we cross over again?
I hope this one is the Loch Ness Monster.
No.
You're dead to me. This one, again, naturally blurry. But
Well, I've been to Loch Ness, and there was no monster in it, so I don't believe in this
Did
one.
you
know what?
check the whole thing?
No.
I did
was
not
there
know
for
that Loch Ness was a real
12
place till
minutes.
later in life. I'm like, wow, people go there and swim? There's a monster there. And this, again, is fascinating when people are like, you know what, it's a deep loch. Anything can be down there.
Anything, yeah.
You know? And the Loch Ness Monster is one of those that's just iconic.
Ew,
You
yeah.
know? And you know it's got to help their tourism. And I've never been there.
100%.
But I can imagine the whole place is, it's like going to Roswell, New Mexico, right?
Right,
The entire
yes.
place is like, it's all about that.
The whole city was very much built around it.
So,
yeah.
I mean, good for them on just capitalizing. First of all, that thing's probably long dead. And second of all, it's probably a duck. But it's just, it's, I don't know. No, not a duck. You've seen Loch Ness? Is it real? But, so anyway, I've always wanted to go out there just because that one is iconic.
I
for
do
me.
wonder if there's like a sense of mystery just kind of being near it. Because
Yeah.
it's built up so much.
Yeah, you always watch those documentaries where they're going to take sonar, they're going to look through everything.
Right.
And they always come back inconclusive.
Right.
I know, that's always the thing.
Yeah.
It's like-
Cannot confirm or
Every time
deny.
you start watching one of those things, you know, or like my number one, I'll jump into it, is a crossover with you, Joe. It's the classic. It's Bigfoot.
Public.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Bigfoot.
Oh! He's wearing his pants too low.
Oh, he skipped leg day, yeah.
Yeah, son. I'm about to, my cousin's making me look bad. It's time to go to the gym.
Oh my goodness! He
Look
doesn't even have leg day.
Wow. Yeah.
at him. He's a good guy, man.
Skipping it all.
Yeah, he took that original picture, put a filter on it. He's like, what's up?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's like Planet of
So
the Apes.
this guy is the same thing. Every time they have a documentary, they're like, we went out into the woods with $2 million worth of equipment. I'm like, you didn't find anything? If you had, I would have heard of it by now. Come on, you're wasting my time. They cut away to a commercial, which is no longer there. It immediately fades back in, and they give you a recap. Before we went to commercial, we spent 12 minutes talking. I'm like, yes, I know. You're making a documentary that would be 12 minutes into 43 minutes. Anyway, but he's a classic. And again, it's another one of those that it could be true.
It could be.
There's a lot of forested areas.
That's true.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Bigfoot might be in there, hanging out with his
We
friends.
just need to go come all down and find him.
Just haven't
Oh my
seen him
gosh, you
yet.
guys are so sad. No. No.
Look at that's great. Where do you find that? That's like,
gosh.
what camera was that? First off,
That is Hipstamatic 12.
that's taking with a shoebox. Here's a
My number
Polaroid.
one is the cryptid that I think creeps me out the most, and because of that, I'm fascinated by it.
Yes.
Swamp monster. I love.
Whoa!
Oh, hey, what's
I
up?
don't know. Do they look like twigs? Are they big frogs?
Oh.
They're like
Swamp monster. I don't know if I know what swamp monster is.
Okay, you
just
asked
a
that guy a
swamp
question.
monster.
He is 100% going to do this. What
Yeah,
he
right,
thinks
right.
about
But
it.
like, are they a fish? Are they a mammal? Like, they're so creepy, and especially down here in Florida where we have all the mangrove trees. Like, this could be hanging out in that, right? Like, you just don't know. So I really find the swamp monsters fascinating. Again, the legends, I think a lot of it probably came from like quicksand, no, not quicksand, but like just things disappearing into the bog and the soggy water. But yeah, I think swamp monsters are awesome.
Wow.
They're so creepy.
He also got those nails where it's harder for him to type. Like you see those people,
doesn't
those
have
girls
to.
with
Wait,
really
you,
tall
are you
nails.
assuming he has
Easier
like an
to
office
entrap.
job?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go somewhere during the day. He's not in the swamp all day. I'd say he probably is a call center.
Thanks for calling the swamp. How can we direct your call? No, that's Bigfoot.
That's ladies.
Some swamp monsters. I don't think there's like a specific
Look at
name
them.
for them, but yep, I like them.
I do
Hairs.
like him, and then
Super
he would like put his head and his arms in the water, and it just
Yeah.
looks like a mound of grass
Right, or
there.
you just see little
blend
eyes,
in.
like little frog eyes. You know, a lot of times they're wrapped up too in like Louisiana lore. You know, kind of like the Creole culture
I can
and
see
stuff
that,
like that.
yeah.
And but I
Okay.
just love that setting. I think that's
Again,
so
it's like don't
fascinating.
go to the swamp. Swamp monster
Swamp
gets
monster's
you.
gonna get
Gator.
you. What they're
Well,
actually
there you
saying.
can just say gator. That's the thing.
Well, no,
It's like,
probably what they're saying though is like you're gonna get sucked in, you know, to all the mud and stuff and get stuck and drown.
that's true.
Don't go in. Swamp monster's gonna get you. You go. Pull you down.
That was terrifying.
Yep.
Well, there we go, folks. That is our top 3 cryptids. Tell us about your own in the comments, and let's keep going.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Ticket to Ride Paris. This is the brand new entry to the Cities line, the small box line of Ticket to Ride, from designer Alan Armoon, as with all of the other Ticket to Rides. So what is this one? Well, it's a small box version. It plays in 10 to 15 minutes rather than the hour long that the normal Ticket to Ride, the full ones, take. If you're not aware of the Ticket to Ride series, you're going to be basically collecting sets of colourful cards to claim routes across the board, and you're trying to do that to link up cities on your point scoring cards. There's a few twists with this one. There's no grey routes, which in other games of Ticket to Ride allow you to use a set of any colour rather than a specific one. All coloured routes are the same length, and what I mean by that is all white routes, for instance, are 2 in length, or blue routes are 1 in length, which is a little bit different, a bit quirky. And the other thing, the sort of Paris twist, is that when you claim a red, blue or white route, if you don't already have one, you save one of those cards in front of you to try and make the French flag for a bonus 4 points. And, well, it comes together in a nice experience. I still prefer the longer Ticket to Rides where you can build up a huge hand of cards, claim massive routes across this sprawling map. But it gives you a bite-sized sort of experience, a nice sort of entry point to Ticket to Ride if you've never played it. And smaller box, smaller playtime makes it more portable, playable at lunchtime, for example. I've certainly enjoyed this one a few times at lunch recently, when you definitely wouldn't have been able to fit in eating and playing a full Ticket to Ride game. Anyway, that is Ticket to Ride Paris. I've certainly enjoyed this one. Have you had a go at playing it? Have you had a chance? Let us know in the comments section below, and enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
All right, everybody. Today,
Sorry.
we're going to be talking
I heard it in my head
about
again.
character selection games, and by that we mean We were discussing it yesterday about why, when presented with options in a board game of which faction to be, which character to be, whatever, however you want to, whatever the thing represents, who do you go for and why do you make that choice? What attracts you to the person you picked? Do you go for purely on aesthetics? That character looks the coolest, I'm going to take that one. Do you go based on that ability? Sounds like my play style, I'm going to take that. Do you go for, that sounds powerful in this game? I want to feel powerful in the game, so I'm going to take that one. Do you go for, ooh, this sounds difficult to manipulate and I feel like a challenge, so I'm going to take this one weird, like, techno wizard. That's going to be me, What thing kind of attracts you to specific factions and games? And again, it's something you've never played, and I give you a flop of 6 things. Which one do you go for?
I usually go for, it's the first time I'm playing the game, I look for the one that's the most on rails, like isn't going to, has a passive ability that's easy to remember. You always get 1 extra movement. Or at the beginning of the turn, you get an extra resource, but it's not like in games one more thing. So I'm focusing more on the gameplay.
Yeah.
After that, after I know the game, I tend to go for balanced characters that are more versatile. Like I can build into something else. Like if I have like a health, I'll give like Arkham Horror, for example. I want ones that have 6 health and 6 sanity. Or something like that. I don't want like 9 and 3 or anything crazy like that.
You don't want to be particularly good at one thing, but therefore you need to be watching over your shoulder because you're weak at one other thing. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, yes. I want even stats where I am going to be able to build into something based on the cards I get, based on the need of the scenario. I can balance out a different character, something like that. So I like really versatile characters with like extra movement and versatility, I guess.
What about support characters? How do you feel about them? No. If you find a balanced one, but then you realize reading those abilities, ooh, this seems to be very support heavy.
I'm hard out.
That's not your thing.
That is not my thing at all.
Okay.
No, that's, for me, I go for theme, but so many times I'll get like a nice theme, I'll pick it up and they'll have the star, difficulty. My first time, I'll probably put it back down if I see, oh, that's one of the harder ones, or whatever. So I gravitate to theme first, but I also like balance, but not as much balance for me if I find out that they have strategy guides with them, that this one's good at aggression. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on that. Now, I will say I had a friend who started like playing Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and they grabbed the undead only because how difficult they are to play. I think once I know the game, I think that's a fun way to do it. If I'm playing a game, someone else has just started, and I've played it for a while, I'll grab somebody that's a bit more difficult to kind of help balance it out.
Right.
And one thing I will say is, a lot of times I like to dive into a certain faction and stay with it for a while to learn the intricacies rather than switching back so many times. Because you and I have talked about how it's overwhelming sometimes.
It is absolutely right. And any game that makes you feel like you're, like after every turn you take, you go, oh, I forgot to...
Yes.
Hold on. I forgot to take this one thing. I should have 2 more coins or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that wears on me for sure. After a while, you're like... I keep forgetting, sorry, let me take it back again. I will try to stick with that one for a while so I don't have to keep relearning.
Well, and on that, I think one of my least favorite things when you have a lot of asymmetric factions is when the more complex ones are the more powerful, like when those 2 things are equal. If it's like, if you want to be more powerful, you have to play more complex. I don't like that. I think that's honestly poor design. I think no, you should be able to make just as powerful characters that are streamlined, and it should, that difficulty rating should be more how difficult it is to be good and powerful at this character. I agree.
I agree. The difficulty rating should be how likely is that thing where you might forget something to happen, and so therefore you need to be more attentive.
Right.
I agree with you there. Now you mentioned something about aggressive. Do you mean aggression? Do you like the character that is?
No.
Kind of like the front-facing one as opposed to the subversive one, the sneaky one.
No, I don't like the aggressive ones. Well, it depends on if it's other players. I don't mind aggressive if it's towards the game. I don't like. It depends on who I'm playing with. If I'm playing with a friend, I don't mind being aggressive because they know it's going to be. Otherwise, it gets awkward. But no, I don't gravitate towards those. I'm saying if you know a certain faction has a certain direction, they're not balanced, but they say the winning way of this is to play this way. I'm like,
And you worry, you care about those things.
I
you're
do.
saying.
I do because I think it's fun to see how
I
the
wouldn't
game
know,
differs.
and I would actually fight it. I think.
Would you
If
really?
I knew,
You
like
try a
at the
different way?
game, I heard online somewhere that the way to
No.
win is to walk around the castle. So you want to get the guy who's fast at walking? I'd be like, no, give me the tank.
No,
Right,
I'm not
I
talking
see.
about the online. I'm talking about things like
So
Star Trek.
you read strategy articles online.
No. I'm talking like Star Trek
Yes,
Ascendancy.
you said?
No. Oh my goodness. Star Trek Ascendancy is like if you play the Klingons, you're more because I'll gravitate to like Federation
They're hard
where
to
you're
shake.
more. Federation is more rounded. But then I want to go out of my comfort zone and try something different a lot of times. I think.
You
I think
do?
what you're saying is
I
like you
do.
like it when they have a specialty that you lean into.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Like,
I
I
j-
want to know like you're powerful in this, so therefore I'm going to become that character. That's what you're saying. You
And
like a
support
path.
characters, I do avoid it. I don't know why. I don't hate them as much, but you always feel like you're just sitting here healing. You know, so I
Right.
think
I don't mind them as much. I'm actually
Really?
not. Look, if I'm playing something solitaire, like a video game or something, my go-to is the tank.
The barbarian.
The
You don't
barbarian,
go like
Yeah,
casters
the
and
big
stuff.
giant paladin who has a shield the size of all the other characters put together, like that. I want
Okay.
that guy. But in the team, I don't mind being the guy who's like, move this
Buffing.
way instead. Here's
Oh,
a
see,
thing.
yeah.
Here's a shot. Whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't mind that character as
Yeah.
much in a group setting.
And I think I definitely, because you were talking about the aggression, I think I lean more towards your rogue or someone like that. You know, that's going to be more your sneaky, your quick feet. You know, get in, get out, or like sneak attack, something like that.
You want to not be noticed, right? I mean, that's kind of like
Right.
you want to be able to blend in, be stealthy. You do like that kind of stuff,
I do.
right?
Yep. High movement, high stealth, high quick jab. You know, I mean,
Right.
I think about the Oathsworn we're playing right now. You know, for example, has this double stab. You know, the character I have, the Grove Maiden, could get in there and like double stab quick and then run away, and just she
Right.
jumps from one tree to another, something
Right.
like that.
How do you feel about the factions that are put on there because of their name, like whether it's a Deadpool expansion type thing or Howard the Duck on the Marvel United or whatever? It's a silly thing. There's so many games out there that have so many extra factions that aren't well flushed out. Those are the ones I actively avoid.
I
You
actively
know?
avoid those things, but not because they're not fleshed out or not because they're not powerful. Like, for example,
Squirrel Girl.
Spider-Ham in Marvel Champions is one of the strongest characters in the game.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's really stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've avoided that
So
just
I
because...
avoid it because I don't like it in world. You know, going all the way back to
Right.
the original question, why do you pick someone? For me, the first time I sit down to play a game, 70% of the time it's because I look at him all and I go, that dude is cool looking.
Right.
And I
yeah.
take that. In this setting, in this world, that person's cool looking.
Yeah.
Spider-Ham, in that setting, I'm like, that's a pig. He's dressed like Spider-Man.
Right.
Okay.
That's stupid. You
Yeah,
know?
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And again, in its own thing, like in a bubble, that's funny. I get it. Spider-Ham
Right.
is funny. But, yeah, it doesn't fit for me. So, it's not a power thing for me. Is it neat? Is it cool? Are they,
That is true
There's a
because I think I
story
do
you're
tend to
creating.
look at their weapons, be like, ooh, that one has the axe I like, or
Sure.
that one has that as well, and so I
Yeah.
think that there definitely is an aesthetic piece to it as well.
Right.
If I find my perfect rogue and I'm like, but that looks like a skinny homeless man, I'm like, or maybe I'll be barbarian this time, because
Sure.
I like that axe, or I like, no, there's definitely an aesthetic appeal to it as well.
Right. And so I think answering your question, Joey, the faction that had to be there because it's powerful or because they needed to shoehorn it in or whatever. Yeah, I don't normally tend to care for those things, I think.
That
I
makes
don't
sense.
tend to go for them. Zombicide does this quite a bit, and I tend to actively avoid the characters in all the Zombicides that are clearly based on real people.
Right.
I tend to not enjoy that as much. I have a hard time not thinking to myself, yes, I'm playing Zombicide Invader, but that's clearly Ripley from
think-
Alien.
Right.
I think the exception to that is something like Lobotomy 2, where
Yeah.
you are in an institution and in that the characters think that they are these other characters. So you'll have the one that's based off 11 from Stranger Things, and it's like because that is what they think they are. And so
That's
it's playing
different,
with
right,
that.
it's
I feel like that's
in-game.
the exception
It's
to that.
in-world,
Is it's meant to be a wink and a nod, but it's built into this world and this theme that they've created.
Right.
Or if you have the story that goes along with that. I mean, we played the ZC where you've got like The Rock and the presidents, and your whole thing is, yeah. So anyway, if you have it built into it, but I agree.
I tend to
don't
find that a
gravitate to
little immersion breaking
you
myself.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
idea
agree.
of like, oh, this is supposed to be like The Rock, the actor in
His name is
this game.
Stone in that.
His name is
Yeah.
Totally different person.
Yeah, of course. I tend to find that stuff to be, I find it to
is.
break my immersion a little bit. Somebody's mentioning John Tripp there that the Zombicide is getting the TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters. The new one coming out, White Death, has a
Yeah.
whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles box.
Which is crazy because they already have one for the other zombie
They
side.
did, but now I guess they're doing it again. That one was for the original Zombicide,
Right.
though, right?
Yeah.
This is for Black Plague or whatever.
I guess for
White
some reason
Death.
that
Okay.
doesn't bother me.
Because they're the actual characters?
Maybe because it's the actual characters, and it's something they would do. They would. Why would Marvel fight against zombies? Why? If they would, then so would Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So something like that doesn't bother me. I think it's more if they put Bruce Lee in there or something like that. It's that like our world, real world nods that really,
But
I think, break it more for
I
me.
agree with you, and in fact, I wouldn't even mind as much if I literally would mind less if they put Bruce Lee in than I would if they put Bryce Longfoot. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and it's clearly Bruce Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more problematic.
I guess that's
or like
true.
Stone. I'm like,
Right.
that's
yes.
The Rock,
Yes.
and you called him Stone. Ha ha.
Right.
But I'd rather just have some guy who you made up,
Yes. Exactly.
and then I can buy into your world more, as opposed to having this person pull me back out into my world.
Correct. I agree.
I will say I do like the OG zombie side, the girl on the skates and all that stuff from like the original one that's been redone in 2.0 because that was something created for that game.
Yeah, I
You
like
know,
They
that,
created
right?
their
They-
own world.
They almost
right?
become their own stars in that world now.
Right. I
The
just
same-
buy into it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there you go, folks. That's our discussion. Let me know in the comments below, when presented with a slate of characters or factions, who do you gravitate towards? Which one speaks to you, and why do you go for the one that you go for? For me, like I said, I think most of it is the look and the setting. You like power and making sure you don't help people.
Yep. That
And
sums it up.
Joey,
Joey,
all.
we weren't really clear.
Joey gets whatever
What did he
he's
do?
left over because there's 3 choices and he's last. All right.
Every time.
That's going to do it for
So true.
Smorgasbord, everybody. Make sure you come on back a little later today for the continuation of the Top 100 that's going on. Make sure you check out Dice Tower Encore if you want bite-sized reviews of a lot of the content we do here.
Nuggets.
Nuggets,
I
yeah.
like
Kind
that.
of
Nugget
like a
reviews.
frozen Bigfoot nugget. You know, like
A
this.
Yeti.
But like cold and like, what's
Yeah.
up, girl? You feeling chilly
here for
tonight?
it.
Kind of like that.
I'll find you later.
I'm going to stop. We're going to see you later on, everybody. My name is Z Garcia.
I'm Camilla.
I'm Joey Evans.
Watch out for them cryptids. They'll get you.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vassell.